Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're hearing the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any section using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Challenges and criticisms of discourse analysis deconstructed. Challenges and criticisms of discourse analysis deconstructed provides a detailed examination of the ethical concerns and methodological limitations faced by researchers in the field of discourse analysis, DA. The article navigates through complex issues such as the difficulties in obtaining informed consent, the representation of diverse voices in research, and the inherent power dynamics that can influence analytical outcomes. It highlights how these ethical challenges can affect the integrity of DA research, potentially leading to biased or misrepresented findings. Moreover, the post delves into the criticisms related to the subjective nature of DA, addressing concerns about the reliability and validity of research findings due to the interpretive aspects of the methodology. It also explores the challenges of generalizing results from context-specific analyses, which may limit the broader applicability of DA insights. To provide a balanced perspective, the article offers strategies for mitigating these challenges, such as practicing reflexivity, employing methodological triangulation, and enhancing transparency in research processes. By discussing these approaches, the blog aims to underscore the importance of ethical rigor and methodological precision in conducting DA research. This introductory piece serves to inform readers about the critical discussions within the field of DA, offering insights into how researchers can navigate the complexities of studying language and its impact on social structures while maintaining ethical and scientific standards. It is designed to prepare the reader for a deeper engagement with the nuanced applications and implications of discourse analysis in various social domains. 1. Ethical concerns in discourse analysis. 1. Representation and consent. Challenges. Informed consent. Obtaining informed consent in DA can be complex, especially when dealing with public texts or online discourse where the boundaries between public and private communication blur. The ethical challenge arises in determining when and how to seek consent, especially for texts not initially intended for research purposes.
Representation. DA involves the selection and interpretation of texts, raising questions about who gets represented in research and how.
There's a risk of misrepresenting the discourse community or subject by selectively highlighting certain voices or interpretations over others, potentially leading to biased conclusions. Criticisms. Critics argue that DA researchers might inadvertently impose their interpretations on the data, leading to misrepresentations of the discourse community's intentions or meanings. Concerns about the adequacy of consent, particularly in online contexts, challenge the ethical grounding of research findings, suggesting that some DA studies may exploit the ambiguity of public versus private discourse spaces.
2. Power dynamics in discourse.
Challenges. Researcher bias. Researchers bring their own perspectives, beliefs, and biases to their analysis, which can influence how discourse is interpreted. This can skew the understanding of power dynamics within the discourse, potentially reinforcing existing power structures rather than challenging them. Impact on subjects. Analyzing discourse, especially marginalized or vulnerable groups' discourse, can expose subjects to scrutiny or critique without providing them the means to respond or participate in the discourse about the analysis. Criticisms. Some critique DA for its potential to overlook the agency of discourse participants, especially when analyses focus heavily on structures of power and oppression, thereby neglecting how individuals resist, negotiate, and reinterpret dominant discourses. There's also a critique that DA, particularly critical approaches, may prioritize the researcher's agenda or theoretical framework over the lived experiences and self-understanding of those being studied, leading to deficits that more reflect the researcher's worldview than the subject's. 3. Addressing ethical concerns. To address these ethical challenges and criticisms, DA researchers are encouraged to Practice reflexivity, continually reflecting on their positionality and the potential biases they bring to their analysis. Engage in ethical rigor by ensuring informed consent, respecting privacy, and considering the potential impacts of their research on the communities and individuals studied. Foster transparency in their methodological choices and interpretations, allowing for the discourse community to critique, respond to, or participate in the research process. By acknowledging and addressing these ethical concerns, DA can continue to provide valuable insights into the complex interplay of language, power, and society while maintaining the ethical integrity of its research practices.
2. Limitations of discourse analysis. Discourse analysis, DA, while a powerful tool for understanding the nuances of language and its impact on society, is not without its limitations. These limitations can influence the scope, interpretation, and application of DA findings.
Here, we focus on two major limitations: subjectivity in analysis and challenges in generalization. 1. Subjectivity in analysis. Challenges: interpretive nature. DA is inherently interpretive, meaning that the analysis is influenced by the researcher's perspective, background, and theoretical framework. This subjectivity can lead to different interpretations of the same text or discourse, potentially leading to conflicting conclusions. Bias and perspective. Every researcher brings their own biases and perspectives to their analysis, which can affect how texts are selected, analyzed, and interpreted. This can lead to selective emphasis on certain aspects of the discourse while neglecting others, impacting the analysis's comprehensiveness and objectivity. Criticisms. Critics argue that the subjective nature of DA may compromise its reliability and validity, as findings could largely reflect the researcher's interpretations rather than the inherent properties of the discourse. The lack of a standardized method for conducting DA further compounds this issue, making it difficult to replicate studies or validate findings across different research contexts.
2. Challenges in generalization. Challenges. Context-specific analysis. DA typically focuses on specific texts or discourse instances, which are deeply embedded in particular social, cultural, and historical contexts. This specificity makes it challenging to generalize findings across different contexts or apply conclusions more broadly. Variability in discourse. The dynamic and evolving nature of language and discourse means that analyses may quickly become outdated or irrelevant as societal norms, language use, and communication technologies evolve. Criticisms. Some critics point out that the detailed, context-specific focus of DA limits its applicability to broader populations or contexts, potentially reducing the impact of its findings on wider societal or policy levels. There is also concern that DA's focus on qualitative insights might overlook larger patterns or trends that could be identified through quantitative methods, thereby limiting the scope of its contributions to understanding societal discourses. 3. Addressing limitations. To mitigate these limitations, DA researchers can employ triangulation. Using multiple data sources, analysts, or theoretical perspectives can help validate findings and reduce the impact of individual subjectivity. Engage in reflexivity. Researchers should critically reflect on their biases and how their perspectives might influence their analysis, making this reflection part of the research process. Combine methods. Integrating DA with quantitative methods or broader surveys can enhance the generalizability of findings and provide a more comprehensive view of discourse phenomena. Emphasize transparency. Clearly articulating the methodological choices, theoretical frameworks, and analytical steps can help others understand, critique, and build upon DA research. Despite its limitations, DA remains a crucial methodology for exploring the complexities of language and its role in society. By acknowledging and addressing these challenges, researchers can enhance the rigor and impact of their discourse analyses. Conclusion. Discourse analysis, DA, presents a profound avenue for exploring how language intricately weaves into the fabric of social existence, revealing the dynamic interplay between language, identity, and power.
However, navigating this terrain comes with its ethical dilemmas and methodological challenges that necessitate a careful, reflexive approach from researchers. Ethical concerns, notably around representation, consent, and power dynamics, underline the need for a nuanced understanding of the responsibilities that accompany the analysis of discourse, especially in contexts where the line between public and private communication is increasingly blurred. Addressing these concerns demands rigorous ethical considerations, including transparent methodological practices and a commitment to respecting the voices and contexts of those represented in the analysis. Moreover, the inherently interpretive nature of DA, coupled with challenges in generalization, underscores the complexity of extracting universal insights from contextually rich discourse analyses. This complexity does not detract from the value of DA but rather emphasizes the importance of acknowledging the subjective lens through which analyses are conducted. By employing strategies such as triangulation, reflexivity, and methodological transparency, researchers can navigate these limitations, enhancing the integrity and impact of their work. In essence, while DA is marked by challenges and criticisms, its capacity to delve deep into the mechanisms of language and society remains unmatched. By conscientiously addressing ethical concerns and methodological limitations, DA continues to offer invaluable insights into the construction of social realities, the dynamics of power, and the potential for social change. As the field evolves, so too does the sophistication of its analytical tools and ethical frameworks, ensuring that discourse analysis remains at the forefront of exploring the complexities of human communication and its profound effects on the world we inhabit. Frequently asked questions. How do researchers handle informed consent in discourse analysis, especially with public or online texts? Researchers address consent by carefully considering the public nature of the data and often anonymize information to protect individuals' privacy. In some cases, particularly for sensitive topics, researchers reach out to participants or online content creators for consent, even if the data is publicly available. What strategies are employed to ensure fair representation in discourse analysis studies? To mitigate representation issues, researchers strive for a balanced selection of texts, ensuring diverse perspectives are included. They also explicitly state the scope and limitations of their study to clarify the extent of representation. How do discourse analysts deal with their own biases and the potential impact on their analysis? Analysts engage in reflexivity, acknowledging their biases and reflecting on how these may influence their analysis. Peer review and collaboration can also serve as checks to individual biases. Can discourse analysis be applied to non-verbal communication effectively? Yes, through multimodal discourse analysis, researchers examine how various communication forms, including non-verbal cues, complement and interact with verbal language to create meaning. What are some measures taken to address ethical concerns related to power dynamics in discourse analysis? Researchers focus on ethical rigor by ensuring their analysis does not harm the community studied. This includes presenting findings sensitively, engaging with participants during the research process when possible, and considering the implications of their work on those communities. Given its subjectivity, how is reliability and validity achieved in discourse analysis? Through methodological transparency, clearly outlining the analytical process, and employing triangulation, using multiple sources of data or theoretical frameworks to corroborate findings, researchers aim to enhance the reliability and validity of their studies. How do researchers address the challenge of generalizing findings in discourse analysis? While generalization is a challenge, researchers often focus on in-depth insights from specific contexts. When broader applicability is desired, they may use a comparative approach across different datasets or integrate DA findings with quantitative data. What are the implications of the evolving nature of discourse for discourse analysis? Researchers continually adapt their methods to account for new forms of communication and shifting societal norms. This includes staying abreast of technological changes that influence discourse and exploring innovative analytical techniques. How does discourse analysis impact policy making and social change? DA provides critical insights into the framing of issues and public sentiment, enabling policymakers to craft more effective and responsive communication strategies. It also empowers advocacy by highlighting discursive practices that sustain inequality. In what ways is discourse analysis evolving to address its limitations? The field is moving towards more interdisciplinary approaches, incorporating quantitative methods for broader analyses, and utilizing advanced computational tools to manage large datasets. This evolution reflects an ongoing effort to balance depth with breadth and to ensure findings remain relevant and impactful.